wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky!
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim?
Hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast. It's me, Rojan Kim. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's episode 190, guys. Getting up there. Getting up on the numbers, huh? Sally forth. Pandemic's been pretty good. I've been podcasting a lot and day drinking, so that's been a real change. All right. So, following up on episode 189, which I talked about women's suffrage. This was the 100th, or let's see, this past Tuesday. So yes, this past Tuesday was the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. And what followed from that has been a century of death and destruction, which I couldn't tell you if it's a coincidence, but it is how history unfolded. You know, you had suffrage. Yes, you had the Roaring 20s, but then you had the stock market crash. You had the Great Depression, the rise of the Nazis, the Holocaust, World War II, you know, millions of people dead so far. Yeah, you got the nuclear strikes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You had the Korean War. You had the Vietnam War. You know, it just keeps going on and on. The Iranian Revolution, the Soviet Union, the gulags in the Soviet Union, on and on and on. Now, I'm not saying it's because women got the right to vote. I'm just saying that's what happened. You know, that's how herstory unfolded. Well, that's kind of dark. I don't... Well, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy, women. That'd be awesome. That's kind of like probably what happened with Adam and Eve, right? It's just like women were blamed for the fall of man. You know, that's probably what just like shitty male historians will do in the future. They'll look back and just be like, here we go. We can pinpoint exactly when the fall of the greatest civilization on earth happened. It's in 1919 when they granted women's suffrage to to women in America. After that, you had the Great Depression, you know, and then they just go on and on, like I just did. Wow, would I be what if like in Bill and Ted, they found my words somehow, and this radicalized people in the future, and it brought about this whole Handmaid's Tale thing, you know, that everybody's all afraid of. Handmaid's Tale, which, by the way, written by a woman, okay, Margaret Atwood, great science fiction author, but she's the one who came up with the whole story. It's, you know, I think that's the greatest twist in the story of The Handmaid's Tale, is when they get all the way to the top, they find out the whole thing was invented by a woman. The whole thing was made up by a man. Could never come up with this. This is insane. What do you guys do? What? They're all in dresses. They're like very stylish, but it's all fascist, and it's a very, you know, this is clearly the imaginations of a brilliant yet demented woman. You know, that's what it is. That's what it was. And I think, you know, that is not to say there aren't brilliant and demented women. You know, women are, you know, that's the whole thing. Okay, it's just like, how about they're just people? You know, how about women are just people? You know, they're not special because they're women. Nobody's special. How about that? Nobody's special. Everybody's just a human being. Okay, you live and you die, and during that life you make choices. Okay, and those choices have an impact, and that impact will leave an impression one way or the other on the people around you. And of course, one of the worst impressions you could leave is no impression, right? Which is really, though, what the majority of us will do. Even me, you know. I mean, maybe, like in my fever dream of a fantasy, I'm saying that maybe this podcast will be found thousands of years in the future, and they'll bring about some kind of pogrom against women because of it. You know, that's just that's not going to happen. You know, I'm just going to die. No one's going to ever listen to this. There could be an electromagnetic storm from the sun that just wipes out all data. You understand? That could happen in the past. Like, you know, let's just say civilizations have come and gone, right? Risen and fallen. In the past, who's to say there wasn't a civilization that had the technology that we do? And all of their information, all of their data was stored, you know, on disks, like electromagnetic disks, like we have now. You know, and then there was, all it would take was an EMP, you know, an electromagnetic pulse from the sun to destroy all of that, fry all electronics, and wipe out all magnetic discs, any kind of like storage thing. You just wipe it out, short circuit everything. Everything would be gone. Everybody would go back to the Stone Age, revert, go back to normal. Go back, not normal, but go back to what the paleo thing. Like we're basically dealing with fire and sticks and stones at that point. Maybe we would still have guns though, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we have guns for a while? I guess you would have like the technology for a while till it all petered out because you couldn't get electronics back up, and then eventually it would all just fucking, even metal dissolves. Like all of this would dissolve. The only thing left, thousands of years from now, for people to look back on our civilization will be stone, right? That's the only thing that lasts. Stone, maybe some of the toxic uranium and stuff we stored underground, that'll last. That'll be the... There's like little pictograms. Have you ever seen like documentaries of this shit? It's like in New Mexico. It's all our nuclear waste, right? We stole it there because we didn't want the commies stealing it, and getting our secret nuclear technology, even if it's waste. So we just stored it in some bunker that they created that's like supposed to be like lead lined, and I'm sure it's up to snuff, but it's filled with tons of nuclear waste, and then there's like inscriptions on the outside that look like hieroglyphics that just looks like if you open this you will die, or maybe there's a ghost in it or something. I don't know, it's just these pictures of like a bad thing in a thing, basically saying, and then it also says in English, this is not a place of honor. And it was like, well, that is, what more enticing thing could you offer future archaeologists? They're going to come, they're going to uncover this, and they're going to see these, wow, clearly these people had a combination of pictographic and what looks like ancient Roman script. You've translated it. It says this is not a place of honor, yet there's a picture of a thing being opened, right, like a container, and perhaps spirits coming out. I think there are treasures in here, people would say, and they'd open it up, and then it'd be nuclear waste, and then that would just... I don't know. I think it's like 50,000 years or something. A fallout, just fucking dirty nuclear waste being taken out. They probably hand it out and just bathe in it for a while because people are dumb. They'd probably sell it. It would be all the rage. Like people would buy it. Or, it'd be like the pet rock or something, right? People would fucking buy it. The market's booming. They're fucking just selling. They'd call them glow rocks, and they're selling them everywhere. Or hot rocks. They're selling them. Yeah, you could. People keep dying when they touch it, but it's a great thing to talk about. When you have it around, it's proof that God exists or something. I don't know. There's some reason that the market would be booming with these hot rocks, and then everybody would die of cancer, and that would be that, and that's how insignificant we are, everybody. That's how on a thread we all are, okay? So in some ways, who cares if women's suffrage brought about a century of death and destruction? In the grand scheme of things, it's hardly a blink, right? It doesn't even matter. Like, what is it actually, if you were actually looking at Earth from the scale of us becoming sentient, like realizing we are thinking things, to now having, like Wi-Fi technology and things like that, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the in-between, the slavery and the suffrage and the whatever you got. What are you guys doing? What are you guys talking about? Nobody cares about that, right? Nobody cares, So what does matter, though, are the efforts, right, of individuals. Susan B. Anthony, for instance, I mentioned last time, right? Susan B. Anthony was pardoned, right, by Trump. And if you really think about it, Susan B. Anthony would probably not be on board with a lot of the politics going on now, especially, I think, when it comes to trans rights. Not that she would say like trans people don't have rights or anything. I don't know. But Susan B. Anthony would definitely be labeled a TERF nowadays by today's standards, right? Like if you told Susan B. Anthony that like, hey, men are transitioning into women, and then saying that they understand women's experiences, more than women. And then Susan B. Anthony would be like, what? She'd be like, what? No. Wait, what? No, those are dudes. Like, no. And then we're like, no, Susan, this is 2020, okay? There's no place for your outdated modes of gender, okay? Your gender binary is a result of your brainwashing by the patriarchy. And then she'll be like, motherfucker, what did you just say to me? What did you? I fucking went to jail. I went to jail for voting. Do you understand? Like, are you trying to tell me who a woman is? And we're like, yes, Susan. Look, thanks for everything you've done. Thanks for everything, but we don't think this is going to work out. We can't be associated with a TERF. Okay, you're a trans exclusion. You're a TERF. You're a trans exclusionary reactionary female, and we just can't have you representing the Democrats. You know, we just can't have you on the Democratic National Committee because we, according to our platform, there's more than 2 genders. There's a lot of them. We don't know how many. There's a lot. And she'd be like, "What are you talking about? There's women. We barely got the vote for 100 years, and now you're saying men can just become women? Is that what you're? I mean, I don't. Honestly, I don't even really care. But it's just kind of weird that you're telling me, Susan B. Anthony, a woman who fought for women's rights, that I don't know what a woman is. You're telling me, and that I'm now a conservative. I'm now a Trump voter. Susan B. Anthony would be labeled a Trump voting TERF. Okay, she would be dragged on Twitter. She would be canceled. Antifa would come and smash her headstone. The headstone that has all those I voted stickers on it. They come over, they throw a Molotov cocktail on it, bring over a sledgehammer, and just start smashing it into pieces, crumbs, little tiny crumbs, and then they will take the crumbs to throw at cops. Like those rocks, the rocks that formed from Susan B. Anthony's headstone, they'll use as ammunition in slings in their melees and skirmishes against cops. When they try to bust through a skirmish line, they're going to use just pieces of Susan B. Anthony's headstone. Okay? That's what a cop's head is going to get bashed in by a little piece of Susan B. Anthony's headstone. All right? And that's what's going to happen. That's what would happen. Okay? That's what would happen. This metaphor actually makes no sense because in it, she's alive and dead at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. So I lost a little bit of it. But it was fun while it lasted. That's what I thought. Okay? It was fun while it lasted. You know, do you guys know that the DNC, the National Convention, not the committee, but the DNC is going on? Did you guys know that? I had no idea. I of course don't. As much as I go on about politics, I actually don't really know anything in terms of like dates, like when things are happening, when events are happening, and I don't really watch the news. I don't watch the regular news, cable news, or TV news. I watch, internet news. Am I one of those radicalized guys that they're telling you about? No, I read the Times. I read the Journal for a while, but then I was like, I don't want to pay $24 a month for the Journal. Okay, that's just, I get it, but it's just the Times for the other side. It's just really, that's all it is. So whatever. I already have the Times, which Kurt Metzger calls a fat girl's diary now, and that's how I kind of regard it. So if that's supposed to be the most respectable and conventional dominant news source, right? The Times. That's the paper of record or whatever. People respect it, and it's fucking dumb. I mean, they're such dumb, and they're fucking warmongers. Anyways, DNC. DNC is on. Yay, DNC. Everybody is so hyped about DNC. And I just watched a bit of it, and it's just like Ava Longoria is hosting it. Fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like zingers, throwing zingers at him at the right or whatever. And it's just like, what is this? What is it? The Democratic National Convention is like a Zoom comedy show. You know what I mean? It's what it seems to be like. It's kind of got the same sort of boundaries, the same measured kind of, dare I say, fake canned laughing, that the comedy is just a very kind of almost sterile and contained form. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Republican National Convention is going to be like a club show. You know what I mean? It's going to be rowdy. There's just people out there, just fucking, they're going to rip their masks. They'll be like, fuck masks. It's just going to be this rowdy fucking thing of people, and just, they're all going to just get sick, and it doesn't matter. They don't even care. They're having fun. They don't even care. They don't care, okay? Because the thing is that, like, Trump is basically the only touring comic left in the country. Like, everything's shut down. He's the only guy who's sharp enough to do like an hour. You know what I mean? Like, he's been running his hour for years. He's been running the different hour. I mean, the guy is just fucking, you know what I mean? The guy could just, He's trying to find venues. They can't. They're shutting him down left and right. They can't even find a venue. Like the RNC was first in supposed to be in like Florida, North Carolina, or some shit. You know, they keep changing venues. Even some venues are TBD. It's like fucking secret shows. It's like fucking goddamn clandestine speakeasy comedy shows or something. So you know he's gonna be sharp. That's the problem. See, I saw this whole thing on Twitter about Joe Biden's speech, and they were like, everybody's so impressed that he could make a speech. I guess this is how sad to me. This is where Obama was one of the greatest orators we've had in our lifetime, right? And the guy who's supposed to be taking up his mantle, we're just happy he can talk, right? We're just happy he can get through his speech without malfunctioning. We're just like, please, yeah, that's how people feel. I saw people on Twitter being like, I cried after Biden's speech. I cry, you know, we're compassion. I cried. We're the party of good. We're the good people, you know, we're people with compassion. And you're like, really? Joe Biden, who helped get us into the Iraq war, who helped be the architect of the laws that Kamala Harris used to put tons of black people in jail forever. That Joe Biden, that Joe Biden is full of compassion, huh? That guy, the guy, you know what I mean? Like the guy who's behind the military-industrial complex, who expanded the 2 wars we had to 7 wars. The guy who helped arm Ukrainian Nazis to overthrow a democratically elected, you know, pro-Russia government, and then they decided to help, you know, take care of that with that revolution. You know, they had this revolution in 2014 that was Biden's thing. You know, that was Biden's thing. That's why Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, all of which would come up in the debate, right? The debate between Trump and Biden. That is what America has been waiting for. That's what we've been waiting for, okay? And especially with this lockdown, now we demand it. The people demand the debate, okay? We need this goddamn debate. I mean, it's gonna be the greatest fucking live television event in history, okay? And I'm just hoping they're not gonna use the pandemic as an excuse, right? They're gonna use the pandemic as an excuse, like, oh, people can't, because they're already kind of doing it, right? Like with the post office thing. I think the post office thing is really the sign that the lockdown is going to continue to the election, because they're going to be like, oh no, we can't have people come out and vote, you know, because of the pandemic. Just like we can't have people come out and watch this debate that the people demand. Are you kidding me? The people demand. Do you understand what kind of collective blue balls the country is going to get if we don't get this debate? We need this debate. We deserve this debate. You remember the debate between Trump and Hillary, how amazing it was, how just fucking bonkers it was that Trump brought out the 5 women who accused Bill Clinton of sexual assault, and he was just like, look over there. And everybody was like, you know, it was, come on. Now that, how can you, look, I'm not even saying I'm like for the guy, I'm just saying that moment. Is that not, do we not deserve that as Americans? Are we not the new Romans, right? Are we not the new Romans? And we have a Colosseum. Our Colosseum is the political stage, right? Our Colosseum, our gladiatorial event that we need to slake the thirst of the bloodthirsty populace is this debate. Okay, is the debate between the 2 major presidential candidates. That's what all of this shit has been for. All this fucking, it's fucking bananas out there, right? It's fucking, everything's so polarized, everything's so politicized. We have to have this debate. This debate is like, okay, this debate is basically one of the ways the population can release some energy before going into the election, when it's going to get even crazier right before the election, right? So we need to release this energy. Okay, they're not going to let it happen. I really don't think the Democrats want this to happen. At the same time, they're saying you have to vote blue no matter who, right? But I really feel like it's like, vote blue or your balls go blue. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, look, we got blue balled the first time with Hillary Clinton losing, okay? And she didn't give a concession speech, okay? Hillary Clinton didn't come out on the night that she lost to Donald Trump and say that she accepted the results and that the country should move forward. That didn't happen, okay? What instead happened was Russiagate. What instead happened was that the election of Donald Trump was actually a Russian operation. That's what happened for the next 3 years. And then for the next year, it was impeachment. Okay, never mind about the Russians, but what about Ukraine? Huh? Ukraine's close enough, and they're fighting Russia, and Trump was like gonna not give them weapons, But I mean, even though he did, and then he gave them the weapons, and the weapons he gave were to a bunch of Nazis that we're accusing Trump of being. But anyway, then that didn't pan out either. Didn't happen. Everybody's gonna say it's because of Moscow Mitch or whatever. It just didn't happen. Then pandemic is here. It's almost been 6 months of pandemic, following on the heels of impeachment. I mean, it's literally just overlapping. It's happening at the same time. I mean, they knew it was happening while the impeachment trial was going on. You had the story of the 4 senators who were caught insider trading, which nobody seems to be alarmed about. Said that they knew this pandemic is coming, made money on the stocks, or prevented losing a lot of money on stocks from it. And meanwhile, it's nobody cares about that, right? So we got blue balled that first time, okay? They're going to blue ball again. They're going to try to blue ball us again by taking away this debate. I'm telling you. There should be a goddamn packed theater of people roaring, just like fucking with every line, every zinger. Because Biden's capable of zingers. Maybe he might. You never know. Biden. Why are we counting Biden out so much, huh? Why? I mean, that's the whole thing. It's everybody's saying he doesn't have cognitive decline. Then let's see it. Put him in the fucking ring. Put him in the ring. We need to see him duke it out. I want to be all like, we can't elect a president who grabs people's you-know-whats. And then Trump's be all like, oh, yeah, well, speaking of that, guess who's in the audience? Tara Reid. And it'll be like, oh, my God, he invited the woman whose pussy Joe Biden grabbed. Like, Joe Biden was saying, Trump, you grab pussies. And then Trump was all like, oh, yeah, well, here's the pussy that you did grab. And they're like, people be like, ah. You understand? Like, it'd just be like a giant coliseum, of people just going ape shit. And we need that. If you understand human behavior at all, if you understand psychology at all, you understand the fact that everybody's been pent up. Remember the looting, whatever your view on the burning and the looting of stores, whether it was just the people, it was just because the people are acting up, or if you think there was a bunch of criminals, law and order, whatever you think about it, you have to agree that it was an orgiastic explosion of energy. It's like a release of energy. Whatever you think of why they did it, the intention, the result, whatever, where you think it's good or bad that they did it, whatever you think about it, you have to agree that it was a release of energy. You don't think that energy is still there? That energy has not been completely released. It's still there. It's pent up and been kind of made worse, really, by the media, by the governments, by everybody's actions. People, us, ourselves, we're not making it better. I mean, if anything, it's great that we're not completely on fire. That's great, right? It's not all fucking, it hasn't all gone to shit so far, but hey, we're still in the middle of it. I mean, it could, another year of, if they want to keep this lockdown another year and the economy goes really to the shitter and you really have mass homelessness in the streets and you have violence and you have food lines and you have real shit going on. I mean, then we'll be like, yeah, it's in decline. It's in decline. But for now, we're doing okay. And the worst thing that we have going in our society is that the people giving us information are all giving it to us through the lens of conflict, right? Through the lens of division, of marketing, through the lens of just not in the interest of serving us, the people, more in the interest of serving the shareholder or the corporate masters or the military industrial complex, the Mickey man, whoever the fuck, right? Like whoever the fuck. I think it's like all kind of like a form of social engineering, actually. I think it's just really a way of getting people to just go along. It's just like, basically trying to get America like China without having to go full China, And oh my God, they're here for me. I don't know if you can hear the helicopter, but they're coming. They're coming. The black helicopters are here. I can see them. They're coming for my documents. I've converted all my documents into Bitcoin. All right. Yeah, I think they're just trying to see how much they can do. I think I'm gonna take it back to weed, guys. No, but I think marijuana is similar. Is that like, look, We're just going to tell everybody who knows that this is a harmless plant that it's a dangerous plant, and they're just going to go with it. They're just going to go along with it. Watch. And they did. We did. So who's to say we're not going to just go along with whatever bonkers thing that they come up with? Who's to say we are not doing that now? If I do say it, I will get deplatformed and shadow banned. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's like it's real. Okay, the disease is real, guys. COVID is real. Okay, here I am on record saying it. I believe in it. I believe, even though I've never seen it with my own eyes, even though it's other people tell. I believe it. I believe it. Here's what I don't believe. I don't believe that the government is the most competent entity on the planet to handle this at every level, at any level, federal, state, local. They're not. They're not. I don't. And I'm not saying they're incompetent. We've got to get rid of them or anything like that. I just think that, they don't really see why, the state... It's like, given their track record, why we should trust them, right? Because the state has been continually lying to the public, at least, hundreds of years, or at least since the, however long. Just like every state does that because it has an interest, right? Just want to tell the people everything. The people will go nuts if I can try to take it back. Take back. You tell the people that, like, hey, you guys are all funding this giant military-industrial complex, which is also, it's not just the military-industrial complex, but just like I think I said this about, Ray McGovern coined this phrase, the Mickey Mat, right? Military-industrial, congressional, intelligence, media, academic think tank, right? That's what's going on. So anyways, we just never mind about all that. Just don't worry. Don't worry about it. Just buy stuff. Apple new iPhones are coming. Everybody, yay, new iPhones! And look, Kanye West is over there, and look at over there, and the post office. Oh, that's what we got to talk about, is the post office. Yeah, that's so important, guys, that they're getting rid of the post office. And it's our last stand. Come on, guys. People are like crying about people chaining themselves to the fucking mailboxes and crying. They're trying to take the post because they're connecting the post office to voting. You see, they're gonna say that, like, look, no, Trump is trying to say you can't mail in vote, but you should, because you shouldn't come out to vote. So don't come out, guys. Don't come out to vote. That's basically what one side is saying. And then the other side, it sounds like Trump's just like, I don't care if you get sick. Come on out. People would die to vote for me, and they would. Some people would. So let them. I don't know. Let them. That's what I say. Let them die. Let people die. That's what I think. Because we do that anyways. You understand? I see people on Twitter being like, I cried when Biden made a speech, or they can't even say Trump's name. They act like he's Voldemort, right? He will not be named. They call him 45. 45. I saw this tweet of some guy being like, 45 will become like the new 13, where like floors won't even have the 13. We won't even say 45. And it's just like, what a fucking baby. These are professional people who make, I don't know, 5 figures at least. Like, you shouldn't even make $10,000 a year if you cry like that because of another grown man. Okay, you shouldn't even be allowed. You should be given universal basic. That's who universal basic income should be for. People who just cry when something mean is said by somebody. You don't deserve to have a real job. You shouldn't be in charge of other adults. We're a nation of babies that murder babies around the world. That's who we are. Okay, that's that. So how can anybody have sympathy? I, as one of those babies, have very little sympathy for my fellow babies. I can only imagine the parents of the babies murdered overseas, how much sympathy they would have for a man crying. I cried when Lupita won her Oscar. I cried, but it's like, stop crying. God damn it. This is what is going on. This is what's the downfall. The downfall of our country, all right? It's not women being allowed to vote. It's the men, okay, who listen to them and are now just crying, okay? Just crying at everybody, who think that this is what society should be, is just people crying. We murder people overseas and then cry domestically when somebody does something we either really like or don't like. That's basically, it's like, we don't care at all about the things we do to other people. We don't care if they like it or not. We don't care if people like it, if we accidentally drone bomb their wedding. Like, we don't care about that. We don't care. We do it. So why do we care then? How could we care if we do it? It's just, unless we do care, and we're doing it anyways, which then is even kind of more deserving of contempt, don't you think? Sometimes, I understand you have a problem. Some people have problems, and then they know they have a problem, and they're telling everybody, I have a problem, and I got to stop, and then they keep doing it. And then at what point do you just, in some ways, it's kind of a tool to enable the behavior, because you're like, look, I'm telling everybody, and I feel so bad about this, but I just keep stabbing people. Sorry, just keep stabbing. And just like, at some point, you got to draw a line and be like, all right, man, we can't indulge this. We have to do something. We got to step in. We got to do something. People are being killed. Babies are being starved. You understand? That's what sanctions are. Do you understand? Under Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton, we put in sanctions on Libya. Okay, you understand the sanctions. They're still going on. We have sanctions now in Venezuela that Trump put on. Yay, there's one for him, huh? Like fucking sanctions on Iran. Yay, we did that too under Trump. Great. Babies being killed. They're all war criminals. Don't you get it? They're all war criminals. Meanwhile, we're like, the post office. If the post office has no power, how did they arrest Steve Bannon? That's what he was on a boat. He was on some yacht in international waters. How did the post office fucking get him? The post office, they're like, yeah, we got him on mail fraud. Yeah, we got him. Yeah, but so they have no power, yet they have enough jurisdiction and power to arrest people. So, okay, it seems like they're okay. Also, remember the post office. Some of you probably don't remember this because, you're not as old as I am. I'm old, right? Okay, but going postal, do you guys remember that? Going postal was a term for what would happen when you would shoot up your workplace, okay? Because that got popularized by postal workers, okay? Postal workers would go to the USPS, the thing we're trying to defend, and they would just start shooting up the place because they were either fired and they probably worked under shitty conditions. My dad worked in the post office and he hated it. I remember he got hurt real bad and they fucking just laid him off or something. And they didn't even give him money. There was no workman's comp back then. There was just, you get hurt, you're off the job, and he lost his job. And then he was like, he hated the government after that. He became a Reagan Republican after working one job with a government as a government employee, and then he was done. Okay, not to say he's a real barometer for anything. My dad being a Reagan Republican is probably why I was basically like a Democrat for most of my life. Right, it was just like blah, blah, and I feel like ultimately it comes down to that for most people. Politics is associated with childhood. It's a very infantile, people are crying, people are babies about it, people are just, because we have no religion. People used to do this for Jesus. People used to do this, for whatever the Allah, whoever they believed in. I mean, I guess they still kind of do it for Allah. Good for them. If anything, the Jews too. The Jews are still doing it for the old Yahweh, El Shaddai, whatever they're the words. There's some words they can't say. You're not supposed to say. That's why they spell G_D, because God will be like, okay, I get it. You're not taking my name in vain. I get it. Meanwhile, us Goyim are all taking his name in vain, and we're going to, there's no hell either. We're just not in. Anyways, that was a weird aside about Judaism. Well, speaking of which, not really Jews. He's not a Jew. He's a Turk. But Cenk Uygur, you know him, Cenk. Can you even say that anymore? Should I even be allowed to say Cenk? Should I say C word? Should I call him C word Uyghur? Uyghur. What? Cenk Uygur. Wait, that's crazy. Cenk Uygur's name is Cenk Uygur. I'll call him Cenk Uygur. Wow, Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur, dude. So that's like basically he's got a Chinese slur for a first name, and it's the people that they are systematically destroying in his last name. Ironically, Cenk Uygur also denies the Armenian Holocaust, which is great, right? And I think he tweeted this thing which is indicative of a lot of people, right? Oh god damn it, now I'm not gonna even, whatever. He just said the thing that, my thing of what the thing I do to cut off people, or the thing I use to see if I should cut people off, is I ask them, all right, here it is. If someone tells me, so Cenk Uygur says, If someone tells me they are voting for Donald Trump, I instantly lose all respect for them. This is very literal and it includes anyone in my personal life. And then for me, I retweeted him and said, for me, it's denying the Armenian genocide, which is true, man. For me, if you deny an entire genocide, I feel like that's worse to me than voting for someone I don't like. You know what I mean? Like I actually don't give a fuck about either. Like I don't even want to vote. I don't want to vote. I'm going to go to the voting booth and then not vote. I'm going to go vote. I'm just not gonna in the booth. Okay? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go and not do it. Right? So I'm exercising. I'm going through the thing. I'm going to do it, but I can't vote. That's what happened. That's what I did last time. I couldn't vote for either Trump or Hillary. I couldn't vote for president. I just don't want to vote for president anymore. I'll vote on propositions. I'll vote on local stuff. I'll find out who the fucking 7th District City Council member is, okay? And then find out everything about that fucker, right? I'll fucking go through his Twitter. I'll find a reason, okay, to vote or not vote for these people. But I'm done. I'm done with the president, okay? Done with it. So anyways, fucking Chink Uyghur should think twice before he is casting stones, okay? Because the guy, he named his show The Young Turks, right? The Young Turks, who helped bring about the political revolution in Turkey that led to the Armenian genocide. And he gleefully called... That's crazy, man. That's like fucking... I don't know, if someone named their show The Hitler Youth. Yeah. Like, welcome to the Hitler Youth. Today we're going to talk about Joe Biden's speech. It made me cry. Like, what? You can't do that. You get caught. But I guess you can. It's America, all right? It's America, and nobody cares about the Armenian genocide, so whatever, fucking. And so Chink Uyghur can call himself Chink Uyghur. That's incredibly offensive to Chinese people, to the Uyghur population, to the Chinese people who are trying to defend the Uyghurs, and to the Chinese people who are trying to systematically destroy the Uyghurs as well. Okay? And out of all of this, you are like, I instantly lose respect for you. I'll cut you out of my life if you vote for Trump. Well, fuck, I don't know. Has anybody cut Chink Uyghur out of their lives for being called Chink Uyghur? Huh? Because they should have. Well, he's going to show up in my Twitter feed anyway. I don't follow him, but he's there. I don't know what to do about that. So that's where we're at. Huh? That's where we're at. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. Oh, yeah. Be sure to watch Cuties, by the way, coming on Netflix. Cuties, the wonderful story of prepubescent girls who are over-sexualized into dancing to get away from their Muslim parents and their conservative parents. They dance like whores before they should. They should still be kids. They should be children, not cuties. They should be children. You care about the kids? You really care about the people who are like, we're the party of compassion. We care about that. No, you don't care about the kids. The kids are being fucked. They're being fucked. Okay? The kids are being fucked. All right? That's what's happening. The kids are they're killed. Okay? And they're being fucked. All right? That's what they're, and starved. That's what we're got. Oh yeah, I had a whole podcast about this, right? Starve, kill, fuck. That's what we do. That's our foreign policy. Okay. Meanwhile, the foreign policy, by the way, that both sides, both wings of the bird, the war bird, right, agree with. Nobody cares that we're doing this. This is what we do. And meanwhile, if you vote for Trump, you are dead to me. Okay. All right. That's where we're at. Okay. So, well, I hope you had as much fun as I did on this podcast. This was a rip-roaring episode, I feel like. Thanks so much for listening. Please follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, at RojanChem. You can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, all the shit. All the podcast platforms. Find them, please. Find it, rate it, do it, I don't know, share it, do something. Whatever. Or it's okay. It's okay. An electromagnetic flare can just come and wipe all of this out. And sure, it could all be erased. And maybe it was all for nothing. But it's the journey, not the destination. Because the destination is death. Okay, guys. Goodbye.